Morning. Okay, hi. Good morning. Yeah, Arshia, Shamli, Sudan, Shanmati, Zina Priya, Vishalini, Nivedita, Shivakamnan, Mativadana, Anuvarshini, Rupa, Ashraf, Durga, Akshya. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Very good morning. Hope you're doing good, everyone. Mithila, good morning. Okay, fine. Yeah, anyone has to join? We have. We'll wait one more minute and we'll start. That's it. Vishalini, yeah, good morning. Is my voice audible? Is everything clear? Okay, so tomorrow you will be having test, guys, 3 to 6. So, yeah, okay, great. So, from tomorrow you will be having tests Sunday and Thursday, right? Thursday timing is different and Sunday timing is different. And test is we will post questions subject wise. And what we do is at the end of the test, we will be posting key for it subject wise. So what you do is you put it on a sheet of paper, put your name, CBSE if you are a CBSE student, metric if you are a metric student, name, your school, right? CBSE or metrica, and then subject wise bio, physics, chemistry, right? Out of 360 360 marks, how many marks in bio, like that you keep individually. That's it. Okay, and put the total. So you will be checking the key, and if you have any doubts in the key, we will discuss and we will post. You can send me the questions that you have a doubt and respect to teachers, and we can finalize the result later. Okay, that's it. Is it clear? Few members asked about this, sir. How we gonna conduct the exam? That's what I'm telling. Is that clear, guys? So under supervision of parents, you have to write the test and you have to check the key. That's it. Because this test is going on trust basis, you should be genuinely correcting the questions, and you no need to take a picture of your question. The options and all. Okay, just post your marks. That's enough, along with your name. Okay. For example, name, Vamsy, school, CBSE, right? Subjects, bio, 500 out of, sorry, right, let's put 300 out of 360. So our target is 360, right? So 360, 360. Likewise. So likewise, you have to send. That's it. As simple as it. Good morning, Niklesh. Yeah. So let's start, Ram. So today, what we're gonna discuss is, first we will start with what do you say, human health and disease. Okay, and then we'll go for the biodiversity. And biodiversity, I gave 2 days because the biodiversity, lesson when it comes to environment, ecology part. It's very important for this competitive exams. Biodiversity, ecosystem, more than ecosystem, biodiversity, and conservation of biodiversity. What are all the different aspects in biodiversity, right? Those are the important memory based questions will be there. Okay, concept questions will be there in organisms and population and ecosystem, but here you will be having some memory based questions. So that I gave 2 days for it. And because it is 12th standard portion, you are already well with this chapters. So we will quickly first we'll be trying to complete this human health and disease, and then we will come to the biodiversity. Okay. So last class we discussed about common diseases in man. So I hope you are preparing in the form of the tabular form, right? Tabular content, that is. So whenever you see a disease, you have to ask yourself a question that what is the causative agent to, and what is the mode of transmission? Is it a sneeze, like means respiratory droplets, or through air, or through water, or what medium, right? So that's how you have to finish the common infectious diseases in man. That is bacterial, viral, fungal, and as well as helminthic diseases, right? Diseases, its causative agents, mode of transmission, and when it comes to this plasmodium, malarial life cycle, you need to be very careful with the stages. What are the infectious stages for the human? What are the infectious stages for the mosquito? Where exactly this reproduction is taking place? Where exactly asexual reproduction taking place? And they may give even in the form of questions, maybe in the form of this arrow marks, in the sense like process. So they jumble it, and they may ask you to assemble also, right? Reassemble it, scramble, right? So likewise, you may expect questions in the life cycles. You have to be very much clear about first this pathogen entered into which organ, and then later what is the processes occurring. So you should be knowing this entire flow chart. Okay, in man, at the same time in mosquito. So that is the important aspect of the malaria, right? So when it comes to next part, that is I've already gave this worksheet for you yesterday itself. That is human health and disease. So today I no need to send, but I will send again. But we'll see. I think no need to send again the same worksheet. So I'll be sending botany alone today. Zoology already I sent, right. So if you have already gone through, now we are going to discuss about the immune system. So in academics also we studied about immune system, right? So immune system, and if you talk about immune system, lymphatic system, right? Lymphatic system consists of lymphoid organs, and here the important aspect is that you need to know what are the lymphoid organs. For example, what is the primary lymphoid organ? Examples. Secondary lymphoid organ examples. Like if you take this secondary lymphoid organ, spleen, lymph nodes, MALT. In this secondary lymphoid organs, MALT, MALT is important. Okay, because it's real. It's a peculiar characteristic it has. It means MALT is something which is located within the lining of the respiratory, digestive, and urogenital tracts. So these tracts are lined by this MALT, and it is conferring immunity. So that's what this something which is a kind of an exceptional, because this layer itself is acting as an organ. So that is where we have to focus on. So this MALT you need to remember. Okay, and then comes to immunity, we know about the barriers that the immunity types of immunity we have, that is innate and acquired immunity, right? So within the innate, nothing but the by birth we get, right? And then acquired is something during the lifetime we will we will acquire that. For example, COVID-19 you take, right now we are finding out vaccine, right? So vaccine comes under what type of immunity? I already gave a mnemonic, right? APPA, active, we have got, AP, right? What we talked about is within the acquired immunity, right? Types of acquired immunity. We talked about active and passive immunity, and we talked about what are the things that involved in the active immunity and passive immunity, right? So especially metric students who are all there, who are coming from metric, right? So these things are, you can follow the terms, terminology, and the concept, but the flow is different from, the metric syllabus is different from the, this NCRT, right? So and this need is based upon NCRT, so you have to follow, you have to follow what you have, the textbooks what you already reading, right? That is concept wise you go, that's it, as simple as that. You take the syllabus and you will see the syllabus of NCRT alone, the 16 plus 22 38 chapters of biology, and the same thing you will find it in your metric syllabus as well. So no need of any confusions. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. So the mnemonic I gave for my CBSE students is, now I'm giving to you guys also, is that AP. So we came from Andhra, AP, Andhra Pradesh. That is active immunity and passive immunity. And then within the active immunity, we always talk about pathogen. And within the passive immunity, we always talk about antibodies. As simple as that. Now you guys tell me, guys, like this vaccine for this COVID-19 comes in active immunity or acquired immunity? I mean, active immunity or passive immunity? Vaccination for COVID, we are trying to find out, right? Maybe within September, October, we may get, because the research is going very fast. Like they accelerated the research, right? Okay. Hmm. Ashya saying passive. What Ashya? Anvarshini is also saying passive. Srilaksha also saying passive. 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 Okay. Remember, guys, we are talking about active and passive, right? So active immunity, we always talk about pathogen. That's what I gave, A, P, P, A, pathogen and antibodies. It means in active immunity, we always talk about pathogen, be it bacteria, fungi, or even we talk about even virus also. But in the case of passive immunity, we talk about antibodies. This is a thumb rule. This is something which is a mnemonic. So still you wrote exams, everything is done, and still you guys got confusion with active and passive. So in active immunity, in the both the cases, active and passive immunity, what is the approach of immunity is to raise antibodies against the artificially acquired active immunity. Exactly. Correct, correct, Kritika. Right? So it is artificially acquired active immunity, right? As simple as that. You have to follow at least the mnemonic I gave. Okay, no need to get confused as well. So in active immunity, we talk about pathogens. For example, in active immunity, we have natural active immunity, and then second one is artificial active immunity. So we are talking about artificially active immunity because vaccine is something, a part of the organism or part of the virus or subunits we will be giving as an artificially infectious mode. Natural active immunity is something natural infection. Artificial active immunity is something we are giving, dead microorganisms, so that the immunity would be raised, raising the antibodies against them. So this is what active immunity. So the COVID-19, what we are actually trying to do is nothing but artificially acquired active immunity. This is what we are trying to target. It means the vaccine, for that matter, right? And then we have passive immunity. Passive immunity will be talking about antibodies which comes naturally from the mother. That is, one is from colostrum, IgA, and then from placenta, IgG, right? And then we talk about artificial passive immunity when we talk about what do you say, toxins, at the same time anti-tetanus serum. So these are the things which we talk about artificial passive immunity, right? Especially which raises the antibodies and protect our body. As simple as that. Is that clear? Guys, you already wrote exams also. Still, if you are unable to answer, means you please go back and once we have to read this concept again, at least you should be remembering the mnemonic, right? Hi, Vijendra. Okay, shall I proceed? Hello, guys. Yeah, fine. Okay, fine. Hope you guys following. Okay. So there is no big magic also. We already, maybe, yeah, there is some sort of we may tend to get confused. That's what this is the important aspect of this lesson where you get eventually always confused about. So you should be carefully writing this flow chart. That is immunity. When it comes to acquired immunity, we have two types: active, passive. And in active, again natural and artificial; passive, again natural and artificial. So in active immunity, we talk about raising antibodies against the pathogen, right, in two ways: naturally, artificially. And then vaccine, we talk about artificial active immunity. Like that, if you read it, it will be easy. At the same time, this is the place where you get confused. So that's what I'm highlighting and spending much time here. Okay. At the same time, you need to be focusing on the innate immunity, especially the barriers, right? The cellular barriers and physiological barriers, physical barriers, cytokine barriers. So you may give they may give like column A the barriers, types of barriers, and they may give shuffling the organs. For example, they may give skin HCl, PMNL, means like nothing but leukocytes, at the same time interferon. So they jumble up the sequence and they ask you to pick the right options. Okay, something which is memory based. But when it comes to types of immunity, it is something conceptual based. You need to understand the concept, or you need to revise it again and again. Okay, and then coming to the next aspects, that is when we talk about immunization can be of again two types: active immunization, right? Active immunization nothing but vaccine, or passive immunization is nothing but we give pre-formed antibodies, as simple as it. So for example, when we talk about tetanus or snake bite, during the snake bite, right? So we already there would be a pre-formed, already prepared antibodies will be there, and we will be injecting them. In the case of passive immunization, in the case of active immunization, it's nothing but vaccination. So we are actually targeting now for COVID-19, that is active immunization, right? So in the allergies, the important aspect that you need to focus is what are the allergens, right? For example, histamine, serotonin, right? So these are the things you need to focus on, right? At the same time, how do you treat these allergies? What is the treatment for allergies? Nothing but for histamine we'll give antihistamine, right? So likewise we give steroids also. For few members, the steroids gives different reaction, right? They give side effects as well, steroids. So so here when we treat the allergies, we these are the important aspects you need to revise again and again. That is antihistamine, steroids, right? At the same time, adrenaline. So these are the adrenaline is hormone, right? You know about it. So this one we will be given to reduce the allergic symptoms. And one more aspect in this allergies is the type of antibodies that are involved in this allergic reaction, right? In the sense, these allergens are actually reduced by the action of antibodies. So, what type of antibodies here will be produced against allergies? Can you please tell, guys, what type of antibodies would be produced during allergic reactions? Okay, IgE, right? We know the types of antibodies also. Gamed is mnemonic, right? Correct. Correct, Madhuvalna. Correct. Vedita, correct. Rupa, correct. Yeah. Yes. Reminding, are you following, guys? Today, are you guys in weekend mode or what? Reminding, are you able to follow? Please do answer, guys. Yeah. Reminding. Okay, fine. So let's move on. Yeah, following. Correct. So now we talk about the next aspect is that autoimmunity, right? Autoimmune diseases and the example of autoimmunity, right? Autoimmunity in NCRT there was a paragraph where that paragraph they may change the statements and they may give as a question that pick the correct statements. So when it comes to autoimmunity, these statements from the NCRT would be very much important, and you should be revising again and again when it comes to this. What do you say? This autoimmunity is in autoimmunity is concerned. You need to be focusing on the statements that were given in the NCRT textbook. Okay. Sometimes this most of the time the statement as it is they will be picking from the NCRT, right? Or diagrams when it comes to diagrams also. So I request metric students to download CBSE textbooks PDFs as well. So that would be more helpful. At the same time, utilize time, and I am always available for you guys to address any sort of confusions and all, and right. So please make use of it, whoever it is, whoever has the doubt, not only metric, not only CBS, right? Okay. So when it comes to this, so the next aspect is AIDS, right? So when it comes to AIDS, what is the type of virus, what is the genome of it, and what is the mode of infection? At the same time, what is the steps involved in it? So right from the entry point to exit point, every step is important, and you should be focusing on the functions of the each enzyme: RIP, rest in peace, reverse transcriptase, integrase, and protease functions. As simple as that. And then prevention of AIDS can be that those points can be asked as correct or incorrect statements. More than this, more than the life cycle. When it comes to life cycle, they may shuffle the order. So more than this, I'm already giving in the worksheet the order, the point of entry to exit. The sequence of the infection. So you just go through it. If you focus on this, AIDS, when it comes to AIDS, this is enough. That's it. Diagnosis, ELISA is important, and the abbreviation of it also, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, right? And what is the concept behind it? ELISA, right? We use sandwich kind of an ELISA, or what type of ELISA we are using. I already explained in the academics as well, right? So antiviral drugs. So when it comes to AIDS, this is a hotspot. That is prevention of AIDS can be asked as correct or incorrect statements, as well as the path of or the mode of the sequence of infection means nothing but the life cycle. The right from the entry to exit, that sequence is important. This is the important aspect. So when it comes to the next aspect, that is cancer, right? Cancer again, it's a very small topic in NCRT, but I elaborated during our NEET classes. Pretty much elaborated. I gave example of Bahubali, angiogenesis, and how these cancer cells attack our normal cells, how they invade. That's what I gave example of Bahubali also. So academic class, during NEET classes in school, you already had an enough coverage of this topic, cancer. Elaborately I covered, and now in NCRT they gave very small, very few concepts in it, in which you have to focus on what are the carcinogens, names, and they how they affect. That's it. So these are the important aspects. Types, maybe they may not ask, but still you go with the types also, benign and malignant. I already gave malignant as an M3, right? Malignant, metastatic, and migratory. So these are the M3 type of which is most dangerous than the benign tumors, right? So at the same time, carcinogens and their effects, right? And where do you get this carcinogens is the where you have to focus on. For example, tobacco is there, right? Chewing tobacco, there is one of the carcinogen, and what happens is the proto-oncogens would be activated to form oncogens and finally cancer. So everyone would have a few percentage of this cancerous oncogens, but you know those may express at certain aspects, right? Certain environment we provide for the cell, right? So that is one of the aspect you need to concentrate, especially the carcinogens when it comes to cancer. Okay. And then uh, are you able to follow? Is it making sense? Are you able to follow? Okay. So I'm giving just a quick outline and the highlights. Okay. In this time, if it's a classroom setting and we have that approach would be different, right? So here I'm giving just highlights and what are the topics you need to more focus on. Okay. So stay with me here, and then next, within this cancer, right, the cancer detection and diagnosis. So I gave a very clear kind of a cancer detecting techniques, right? Biopsy. I've shown enough videos during our NEET classes also. Biopsy, at the same time, histopathological studies, right? So we study the pathology of the tissues because we are focusing on the cancer cells and the associated tissues, right? So detections and diagnostic tools are utmost important when it comes to cancer. One is cancer causing agent, carcinogens, right? At the same time, cancer detection and diagnosis. So these are the important. For example, MRI, CT, right? Radiography is what you need to focus on, and even molecular biology techniques. So they may randomly ask this: what are the techniques involved in detection or diagnosis? And if the paper is very easy. And then when it comes to treatment option also, we have seen different types of treatment. One is radiotherapy, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, where this can be individually given or even combinedly also given based upon the stage of the cancer. So this is a half a lesson where uh, these are the important aspects of this lesson. So you can even go and study about more diseases, confined to whatever. For example, if they give chikungunya as one of the name viral diseases, okay. So you have to go back and you have to once refer what is it, and at least you should know what type of an virus, and what type of a causative agent it has. So like that, few extra things you can go ahead with it, and you can go ahead with the need book as well. If no need book, you can use this out. You can use this outline of the chapter. But again, you have to revise NCRT after reading this outline as I gave, right? So coming to drugs, right? When it comes to drugs, right, what you can do is you can put a table, right? Drugs, its origin, and then its affecting organ and its symptoms. Okay. So if we take a morphine, right, morphine can be used as an pain management. But if we abuse a morphine, what are the symptoms? Like that, if you make a table, right, it will be very much easy. But I already given now present worksheet that clearly it is given, right? Which, for example, if you take opioids, right, opioid receptors, what it is affecting, right? At the same time, what is its origin? Poppy plant, for example, when we talk about morphine, heroin. When we talk about cannabinoids, we have cannabis sativa, right, which causes some even sort of having cardiovascular effects on cardiovascular system as well. Likewise, here what you have to focus is the drug and its mechanism, what it's having effect on, which tissue or which organ. So once the drug is abused, human, right? So we are talking about human only. You're going to be doctors, so means they have to they wanted to test your knowledge on the drugs, how this will work on humans. So especially when we abuse, what is the resultant of this drugs? That is the most important part you need to focus on, right? Drugs like barbiturates, you have benzodiazepines, right? Amphetamines. So how these drugs are actually affecting the human behavior or thought process, or even how they are causing hallucinations, right? So these are the things you need to focus on, right? So here the drug origin, for example, if it is a plant origin, so that you need to focus and practice. Okay, you no need to remember the spellings and all, but you need to just for example, Atropa or Datura, right? They may give in section A and section B, right? Section A they give different types of plants, and they give what are the properties, right? Properties of the these drugs when they abuse, hallucinogenic property, or if they euphoria, in euphoric characteristics, or pain management. So you should be matching it. So as simple as that. So it is something memory based. So when it comes to adolescence, addiction and dependence is very important here, right? At the same time, when we talk about dependence, they may ask you, they may confuse you with different statements. Okay, from this following below options, what is a dependence? Like, is this the statements are correct? When we are considering about the dependence. So according to that, according to the given statement, for example, dependence is something tendency of body. When we try to withdraw, right, it shows the withdrawal syndrome, right? It means that shakiness, nausea, sweating, and anxiety, right? When we these are the withdrawal syndromes, right? When we abruptly you know abruptly drop the drugs, right, and they show dependence on this. They cannot really stop using these drugs. Why? Because they show this withdrawal syndrome, because the regular doses of the drugs or alcohol is abruptly discontinued. Suddenly we discontinue, right? If suddenly having drugs and they stop abruptly, right? Even they have shown in the recent movie of Rajinikanth, right? What is that movie? about the drugs. One of the minister's daughter will die, right? Because of this dependence zone, withdrawal syndrome. Suddenly they will lock her in a room and she can't manage it. Yeah. Yeah, darbar. Correct, correct. Exactly, you got the concept. So then what you will tell? Yeah, we'll call the doctor so that we'll give some kind of a counseling and we have to send for rehabilitation centers. Okay, okay, everyone good, everyone correct, correct. So that is about the drugs and then dependence. So they may confuse you with the statement. So just try to remember, this kind of a scene so that you can get. So they display some unpleasant withdrawal syndrome, right? When they are abruptly discontinued the doses. So they have to be supported with the counseling as well. They have to rehabilitate. So how these drugs and alcohol are having effect on the human is also one of the important aspect, and they may ask you correct or incorrect statements. Correct or incorrect statements looks very funny and easy, but they are the questions. Those are the questions where we tend to lose because every one or two statements looks very fair enough. Okay, both are looking same only, so we will do inky pinky ponky. So don't play like that. So you have to thorough. You have got enough time now, and you guys are extremely lucky when it comes to NEET exam. But whoever your seniors who are taking long term and who dropped 1 year for preparation and all, they might be getting frustrated because exam is postponed. But that is also one way or the other. We can't tell anything right now, or whether it is positive or negative. But utilize for positive. Be optimistic and utilize this time. Not complete 24 hours, but utilize the time properly. You have an entertainment and relaxation time as well. That's even WHO is suggesting, not Vamsy sir. Not only Vamsy sir, okay? I also suggest the same. So have the relaxation time. I no need to tell about that, but still I'm telling. So as why I'm telling, especially who is taking, right, either students or parents who are taking this COVID-19 lockdown period as the time of productivity. It's a time to prepare, it's a time to do wonders. No, it's not the time to do wonders. Plan, pakka, small things you try to do, that's it. Otherwise you will get stressed out. Productivity, this is not the right time because we are already freaking out. We have enough panic about the COVID-19 out there. So plan your NEET preparation also in that way. Okay, don't expect a lot from yourself in this COVID-19 crisis, but plan accordingly. Have relaxation time as well. So when it comes to why I'm telling is, this is human health and disease, right? When we talk about the psychological stress and all, where NCERT is not actually focused in the syllabus, maybe they may put in the revised syllabus. Okay. So warning signs of drug and alcohol abuse is again the correct or incorrect statements can be given. Prevention and control also correct or incorrect statements can be given. So these are the aspects of this lesson, human health and disease. These are the aspects of the lesson. Okay. So when it comes to this drugs or alcohol, how this will be acting on human male or human female, right? Especially when they take anabolic steroids. Steroids, when they abuse steroids, right? When they uses overdose prescribed steroids, when they use, what are the conditions in man and what are the conditions in women, females and males? I gave in what is a out worksheet also. Once go it one go through it. So in case of in females, masculization, nothing but development of male characteristics, mood swings, depression, etc, etc. So these are the questions, these are the areas where they may confuse you with the incorrect or correct statements. So you should be very careful with this. easy, actually easy, if you have a presence of mind. So this is the right time to actually put some time on this. It's slow and steady. So with this, we completed this. What do you say? Human health and disease, right? So is that okay, guys? I think 12th standard portions now, so you are pretty much confident, I guess. So once we start 11th standard, I expect everyone should be attending the class. It's should be because 11th standard you have left it for almost a 1 year, so it will be very useful when you attend the class. Okay, because I can see few members are going coming. Uh, we have analytics in this so that we can see who is coming, who is going also. Anyways, okay, so let's go to the next one, the botany aspect, that is biodiversity and its conservation. Okay, biodiversity and its conservation is very small you know chapter, right? At the same time, it has some examples. So those examples and terminology is what important, and that's why I gave this for 2 days. So if you can complete today itself, that's okay. Okay, you can start with our next chapter as well. Okay, so it's up to you. So when we talk about the biodiversity, we have different types of levels of biodiversity, patterns of biodiversity. When we talk about patterns, right? And what happens, or what is loss of biodiversity for that matter, right? How what impacts, right? So for if at all the biodiversity is lost, what are the impacts? What we see, those also will be present. So at the same time, at the end of the chapter, we'll be discussing about biodiversity and its conservation. So how can we really conserve this, loss of biodiversity without losing the biodiversity? So how can we conserve them? So what are the different steps? What are the different steps and what are the different things that we see in this biodiversity conservation also? Utmost important. So let's start with the biodiversity. So what do you mean by biodiversity, guys? What do you mean by biodiversity? What do you mean by biodiversity? Yeah, you guys are typing. What do you mean by biodiversity? So you see that it's a variety combined spheres. Yeah, spheres in the sense like we talk about right from a unicellular, ranging from cellular macromolecules to, yeah, biomes. So cellular macromolecules to biomes. All these things comes under diversity, biodiversity. So when we talk about the levels of biodiversity also, yeah, correct. Different species. Correct. Okay. 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 Yes. Yeah. So it's a variety, right? It's a variety. Yeah. Variety and variability of life on Earth. Right. Species richness. Okay. Correct. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good going. Yeah. So when we talk about biodiversity, here Wilson, where you have to remember about the this who actually coined this term or who popularized this term biodiversity, Wilson, Edward Wilson, right? When it comes to scientist name, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to work on a timeline aspects of both 11th and 12th biology scientists names and their contribution. So in shortly I will try to release, right? I'm working with the 11th standard students. Along with them, we will be trying to publish that. We'll see that. So before that, you just go through the scientist names, right? Every chapter you will be having few scientist names and their contribution. Likewise, write scientist name, their contribution. That's enough. Okay. So when it comes to biodiversity levels, we have in biodiversity we have different levels of biodiversity. For example, we have diversity at the level of genes, genetic diversity. For example, within a species you will be having different varieties, right? How is that happening is that the genetic level there is a variation. For example, raw Wolffia Himalayan shows a genetic variation in the potency and concentration of the chemical respirin. Yeah. So at the genetic level, so when we talk about levels of biodiversity, we have different types of levels. So when we talk about levels, we have genetic diversity, species diversity, ecological diversity, right? So in each of these types of levels of diversity, pick the one of the examples. So level of diversity and the example. For example, for almost there are 50,000 different strains of rice and thousands of varieties of mangoes. So how can we have the same species mangoes with the different varieties? Because this is a variation and variety that is present at the level of the genes, nothing but genetic diversity. So these are the pretty much good examples that we can give, right? Raulfia at the same time, rice, mango. How can they have different varieties and strains? So when we collect all these things, we say it as you know what do you say, the biodiversity at the level of genes. For example, at the genetic diversity, it's how this species richness is also creating would be coming in the next aspects. So within the levels of biodiversity, we have genetic diversity, next species diversity. How the species diversity is created, or what is it means. So diversity at the level of species, right? For example, you have a Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. So if you compare the species present in Western Ghats along with the Eastern Ghats, right? So they will be very much different species may occur in different different habitat, and especially when we compare this Western Ghats, they have more amphibians compared to Eastern Ghats. So in that way, species diversity also can be studied. One of the level of biodiversity. So what's happening is genetic level and species level at the same time ecological diversity. So this is levels. So next one is ecological diversity. It means diversity at the level of ecosystem, right? For example, in India, we have different types of biomes, ecosystems. For example, right? So different types of how these different types of ecosystems means ecosystem. Last yesterday we already talked about ecosystem, biotic, abiotic components, biotic components. So how much variation it will have, right? So likewise, one is at the genetic level, one is at the species level, one is at the ecological level. So these are the levels of the biodiversity, and their examples are important. That's it. Okay. So when it comes to the numbers, right? For example, they will not actually touch upon this kind of numbers that usually, right? But you try to really try to practice these numbers as well. For example, global estimate. What is a global estimate number of species, right? It is around approximately around 7 million species would have on Earth. So this is Robert May's global estimate. So someone here in this chapter, they are talking along with the scientist name. So this would be the important aspect. In a general sense, the numbers may not be that much significant for the NEET exam, but they are talking with relating to the you know scientists who estimate this number. So that would be the important aspect. So Robert May's global estimate is about 7 million species. Like that, I gave few estimates in this worksheet. So once go through it. Okay. So I think like this lesson is already taught in academics. So once you go through the NCERT and if you have doubts, you please ask me. So likewise, what are the composition of invertebrates, vertebrates, plants, right? And India, when it comes to India, right? How much diversity we have, right? So what is the percentage of diversity we have in India? At the same time, what are the mega diversity countries? Example, we have 12 mega diversity countries within the world, right? So these are the important aspects you need to focus on. Is it a 12 or 10 or 6 or this is again confusing aspect. So you please remember that we have a year 12 months, so 12 mega diversities, right? 12 mega diversity countries of the world. So we have, uh, if you see, India is one of the 12 mega diversity. So within the 12 of mega diversities, we are one of them. Okay, so India is involved means definitely we should be knowing that. We should not ignore. Okay, so we are one of the 12 mega diversity countries in the world. So this is an important aspect. Means the the estimates given by Robert Mays, that Robert Mays global estimates, those are the numbers you need to focus on. As simple as that. Is it clear? Are you able to follow what I'm doing? Is it making sense? You guys have already gone through this lesson already before. Yeah. And yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So yesterday I already posted a link, right? So by mistake I posted a link which is not active. Again I posted in class group to download the worksheet of ecosystem. Okay. So if you didn't go through it in the class group, you please go through and you go through that link, right? And you please try to download and I am trying to put everything in one place. Okay, the worksheet and then related class also. So this ecosystem I already taught for 11th standard. For example, it means your juniors in a much elaborated way. For almost 4 parts will be there. Okay, 3 parts already completed, one more part has to be completed, but due to this lockdown the classes were postponed. So those if you need any sort of explanation, you can go through that link and you can I gave very clearly, I gave the links of the class also. Okay, the link to download as well as the link for the online classes, previous online classes. Okay, I'm trying to do my best to really use this time efficiently for you guys, right? So when it comes to this biodiversity, so what we can do is tomorrow in the sense Monday, we'll be talking about the rest of the topics in the biodiversity. Like we will be talking about patterns of biodiversity, importance of what do you say, importance of species diversity, loss of diversity, and how to conserve them. Okay. So today what we just talked about is an introduction and at the same time what are the different levels of biodiversity. So we have, what are the different types of, what are the different levels of biodiversity? Can you guys, where I can get the worksheet, sir? My above link I posted now. Okay. Can you give what are the levels of biodiversity so far what we discussed, guys? So what are the levels of biodiversity? Now people are coming at the end of the class, huh? Giving attendance, ra? Genetic level, species level, and ecological level. Yeah, correct. Correct, Shanmati. Yes, correct, Sri Durga. Correct. Yeah. Okay. Madhyodana, correct. Sri Daksha, Akshya, correct. What about others, Ra? Ashraf, Sugan, Ashraf, are you guys are there? Niklesh, Shivakannan, Nivedita, Zina Priya, Arshia. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. Okay, guys. So next class we will be discussing about the rest of the lesson. You know, I will try to make a flowchart for this lesson because I have tomorrow to do this flowchart apart from your question paper preparation, and I will try to post it so that you can have a pretty much glance about this biodiversity, which is very short, but when it comes to estimates, right? So these estimates needs to be very much important, right? Those numbers, right? Especially when the scientist is involved. This 12 mega biodiversity countries, India is one of it. So likewise we'll try to discuss the next class. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this session, and uh, what you guys can do is that I'll give some instructions to do test, how to take the test, right? So you please follow those steps and do that. Okay, and please do subscribe and like the video so that it will be useful for the others to view as well. Okay, thank you guys. We'll meet in the next session. Please do access the flowcharts and the rest of the content. Thank you. Okay, guys. Thank you. Sure. See you. Stay home. Stay safe. Thank you. Okay. Bye.